All right, so today we're going to look at the farm fence project that we're doing in class. And this is giving us an opportunity to create components again and modify those components. First thing I want to do is just be comfortable with my environment and the area I'm working here. I'm using Sketchup on the web. Okay, we might be using Sketchup Pro in our class. There might be a different version of it, but this is Sketchup on the web. Available to anybody. Just get yourself an account, and that's what we've been using this semester. So when I'm ready, first thing I want to do is create some space for our fence. So I want a yard or some ground of some type. So first easy way to make a component here, I'm just going to grab the rectangle tool, and I'm going to drag a rectangle out. If you look in the bottom right of the screen, it says dimensions, and we want to give our yard some size. Okay, we don't know how big it is yet. We don't know how big the fence is. So we can just, make it 50 feet. All right, so 50 apostrophe and then a comma, space, and then 50 feet again. And then I hit enter, and it'll make a nice big space for us. Okay, use my pan tool and take a look at the yard. All right, now this is just a flat two-dimensional surface, and we want to make this a three-dimensional surface. So I'll click on it, and then I'll go ahead and use the extrude tool here on the left. And I'm going to extrude down, okay? Doesn't matter how far down you go, just want to make sure we have a yard or some grass for our fence to stick to. So I'll just make mine 10 inches. So again, look in the bottom right-hand corner. You see how the dimensions will move. Just don't click your mouse, type in the number you want, 10, and I use the quote signs. And that gives me a 10-inch piece of yard. And I want to make that a component now. Okay, I want the yard to be separate. I don't want the fence to be attached to it or interfering with anything. So I'm going to make this a component. All right, and right now our little SketchUp character here is also a component, and I know that by looking on the right-hand side. There's a box for components, and when I click on it, right now it says components in the warehouse, but if I click the house, it says that Helen is here, and Helen's a component. All right. I want to hide Helen. All right, I'm going to click Helen to highlight, and then right click and hide. Okay, and Helen's still there. Again, if I look at the component box, you see Helen is here. Okay, and we'll show you how to unhide that later. But for right now, I just have the big yard. All right, and I need to make this a component. So I'll grab my select tool, and I'm just going to draw a box all the way over the whole thing so it highlights blue. Okay, so the whole thing is highlighted blue with the speckles on it. And I'll right click. And about halfway down here, you see the option for make component. When I click on that, it asks for a definition. So we want to give it a name, yard, ground, something like that, right? 50 foot by 50 foot grass. Okay, I don't know, whatever you want, okay? And then we say, okay. This is now a component. And if I go over to my component screen on the right-hand side, you see there's Helen, and then there's a yard. Helen was created by SketchUp, and the yard was created by me. All right. Now I want to give that yard some characteristics. I want to make it look like grass. All right. So I could do a couple things here. I can just click that once. Notice that the whole thing is blue. Not just one surface or an edge, but the whole thing is blue. And if I come over here on the right-hand side, no, over on the left-hand side is my paint bucket. And I can then start looking for some materials. Okay. Want to try to find some other materials. There we go. And just scroll down so you find landscaping, fencing, and vegetation, and pick yourself something that looks good. There we go. And we're all set. Okay. Notice that the whole piece of property is green, even the sides. The bottom is green. Okay. And that's good. That helps us out. We know that the entire piece of property is set up for us and colored the way we want to and all that good stuff. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Next thing we want to do is create our fence. All right. And we have some specifications for our class. You'll want to check it every year. It might vary. We have a fence post and we have 3 rails. Right? That's the specifications for this year. And that fence post is going to be a 4 foot by 4 foot fence post. Okay, we're not going to worry about burying the fence post in the ground. Ours will just rest on the ground. All right, so we'll need to make a size that works well for us. All right, and looking in our references here this year, ours will be 54 inches off the ground. Okay, so it's going to be a 4 inch by 4 inch post, and it'll be 54 inches off the ground. All right, so I'm going to zoom in somewhere over here in this corner. And I'm going to turn the ground off real quick just so it's not in our way. So I'll go to the components box and oh boy, let's, sorry about that, escape. All right, sorry, let's hide this component. Right click on it and hide. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and draw my fence post, and then I'll bring my grass back to see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to draw my fence post here in the corner. Again, I'm just going to draw a simple rectangle, and it's going to be 4 quote, right, and then comma 4 quote. And you can see my dimensions in the bottom right-hand corner before I hit enter here. 4 inch by 4 inch. That's a tiny little post, so you're going to need to zoom in. There's my 4 inch by 4 inch post. You're going to extrude that 54 inches above ground. Again, we're not worried about below ground right now. All right, or 4 foot 6 inches, depending on which how you're setting your measurements up. Okay, so here's our 4 inch by 4 inch post. It's 54 inches tall, and I want to make this a component as well. I want the post to be separate of everything else. So again, we'll highlight the whole thing. Right click, make component. Again, this will be, we can call this fence post. And in the description, we can say 4 inch by 4 inch by 54 inches. We can say okay. All right. Now, again, if I go over to the component screen, you can see I now have the fence post, Helen, the Sketchup character, and then the yard. Okay. Now, if I want to bring that yard back, all right, the way I'm going to do that by going down the right-hand side here, there's a little set of glasses. And under glasses, I just want to do hidden objects. Okay, and you can see Helen's is there, dashed out as well as the grass. So I'm going to click on the grass, right-click, and say unhide. And the grass comes back. I'm going to leave Helen gone for right now. All right, I'm going to leave her hidden. And you can see my fence post is resting on the grass, and I can go ahead and get ready now to do some work to my fence post. Okay, we're going to create one section of the fence. It'll have 2 posts and 3 rails, and then we'll copy that over and over again. All right, and again, check the class specifications for the assignment. All right, my numbers for right now are coming off of this website here. All right. So I'm using those dimensions, but it could vary each year. So make sure you grab the correct one. All right. And I know that my fence post, all right, is 4 by 4 by 54. I also need to know the size of the railings. I need to work on some of the dimensions as I go along here today. Okay. So my railing is 1.5 inches by 5 inches by 8 feet long. 1.5 inches wide, 5 inches tall, and 8 feet long. Okay, so we have that, and I'm going to create that railing over here by itself, and then I'll move over and attach it to the post. Okay, so I'll grab a little rectangle tool, and I want to set this up as close as I can to make sure I'm drawing it in the right direction. So the red plane is the best option for me. Again, 1.5 inches, comma 5 inches. Enter. All right. I didn't go through that time. 1.5 inches, comma 5 inches. And if you look, mine's actually turned the wrong way. I typed 1.5 and then 5. All right, well, easy to redo that. All right, just got to make sure we have the right rectangle. So I'll do 5 inches, comma 1.5 inches. There we go. It looks a little better. All right. And then I just use the extrude tool. And I'm going to pull that 8 feet. Again, check the dimension in the bottom right-hand corner. And I'm going to hit enter. And I have this railing. Okay. Now we want to make that railing a component. And I left all these other components out here just to show you. We got to make sure we get the right component highlighted. All right. And I got to zoom around here, try to figure out the best way. Because when I go to highlight this, notice that the post is highlighted and the rail's highlighted. I don't want both of them. Okay. So what if I go this way and I go from here to here? All right. Looks pretty good. So just the railing is highlighted. Okay. Right click. Make component. We'll call this a fence railing. Again, 1.5 inches by 5 inches by 8 feet. Okay. And again, just to make sure to double check, we'll go over to our components window on the right-hand side. And I see fence post, fence railing, Helen, and the yard. Okay. All right. So let's go over to this fence post now. And I need to create some connecting points for the railing. I need the railing to be in a specific spot. Okay, there's specific dimensions on our assignment. All right, we want to make sure we put those in the right place. So I went ahead and I looked at my sketch ahead of time. I looked at the specifications and I have my dimensions. All right, and the first thing we do is we're going to use this tape measure tool down here on the left-hand side. I'm going to start at the top of the post. And my instructions tell me that the first railing will be 2 inches from the top. All right, from there, all right, I'd like to go down 5 inches for a railing. All right. And I can keep working my way down from there. But let's just work on the first railing right now. Okay. This is the exact center. All right. If I zoom in here and I'm hovering along, it's purple dot, purple, and then it will snap and show you the midpoint. And that's what I clicked on. And I drew straight down to get my first mark, that 2 inches down. Okay. From there, I went down 5. Let me try to get rid of this little guy here. Yeah, let's just do undo. Okay. So I can put those notches in. Now, it's important for me, though, to make sure that all these dimensions and these guidelines that I'm going to draw, that they're inside the post. Right now, even though I just drew those lines a minute ago, they're not inside the post. I need to double click on the post. Notice that the post now has a set of dashed lines around it. And notice that the railing and the ground, the grass, is all shaded out. I'm now just working inside the railing component. And that's important. That's why we make those components, so we can edit and modify things. So now I'll grab my tape measure tool. And I'm going to go down 2 inches. Check those dimensions in the bottom right corner of my screen before you move on, 2 inches. And then from there, I'm going to go down 5 inches. And again, I have the specifications for this year's assignment. You'll need to check yours and do the math. All right, I then go down 10.75 to get my next spot. Lots of dash marks, lots of guidelines, okay? So I have 2 inches down, then I'm gonna put a railing. And then I went 10 3/4 down, and now I'm ready to put another railing in. And how big was that railing? Well, that railing's 5 inches tall. 5 inches. Again, check those dimensions in the lower right corner of my screen. Enter. All right. And then I'm going to go down another 10.75. Those are the spacing dimensions that have been given to us in our assignment. So I have 2 inches down and then 5 inches for the fence post, 10 3/4 of an inch down, and then 5 more inches for another railing, and then 10 3/4 down. And now we need another railing. So I'll go down 5 more inches. All right, and then just double check. I'm hoping this is 14. When I measure from here to the bottom, should be 14 inches. All right, mine looks like it's a little bit bigger. All right, but it should be 14. All right, those should be all your dimensions. Now, the other thing we need to do is make sure that when we attach the railing, that the railing's right in the middle. I don't want it up against the edge of the post. I want it in the middle. So again, I looked at the specifications for our class. I did a little bit of calculating and figured out a few dimensions for myself, and I need to go in 1.38 inches. That's the specifications for this year. Okay. And then my railing is 1.25 inches thick. And this other side then should be 1/3. So we're looking pretty good. So you can see now I've created an area. If you zoom in, this narrow rectangle in the middle, that's where the fence post will connect. Okay. Again, I'm currently working inside the post. So I can't click on it'll take me out of the post though, right? I want to move this railing over here to connect. All right. So down the left-hand side again, grab your move tool about halfway down. And when you go to click on the railing, make sure you click a corner, the top corner, bottom. Don't just randomly grab just some arbitrary spot. Grab the corner, and then when I go to move, I can line it up with this corner, and it'll snap right to the railing, right where I need it to go. Okay, I need to do that 2 more times. Okay, well, that's easy. My component screen is still open over here on the right-hand side, and I can drag another railing out. Let's use our select tool. There we go. There's another railing, and we'll grab the third one because we need that one out there as well. So I have 2 more railings ready to go. They're just floating out here in space. Again, zoom in, grab a corner, not just some random spot. Grab the corner, zoom out, zoom in, and it snaps right to that spot. All right, we created all those guidelines to do the work for us so we don't have to guess. Go to my next railing, click the corner, zoom all the way out, and then zoom in. Oh, mine didn't move for some reason. Click. What's going on here? Let's try one more time. Click. There we go. And move. All right. Oh, what's going on with my middle mouse or my middle piece here? Let's try one more time. Click. Oh, got away from me there. I'm not sure why I did that. Let's go ahead and delete that one real quick. All right, I'll just bring a new one out. Not sure what happened there, but I get a little bit extra practice. So again, click on a corner and click on the corner. There we go. Looks good. Okay. Now here's the best part about working with components. Our specifications this year said that each railing was 8 feet long. Okay. Say the homeowner came to you and said, hey, we want to change the size of this railing. That wouldn't be a problem. I could double click on one of these and I could grab my push-pull tool. And if I go to drag the fence railing, notice that all 3 railings are growing and shrinking together. I'll just hit escape to stop that. Okay, so I can go modify one thing. Same thing, if that fence post has to be raised up a few inches, we can do that. All right, and it saves us time by creating those components. Okay. All right. It's looking pretty good. All right, now what I'm going to do, and this is cheating a little bit, but this makes it a little bit easier for the level that we're at. I want to bring in one more fence post to make this other side. Okay, and there's a couple different ways to kind of attack this. I'm going to bring in the extra fence post. Okay, so fence post, I'll double click, and I'll bring one out here. All right, and I've got my next fence post ready to go. All right, now all of my dimensions that we made, those dashes and guidelines and stuff, those are all on the wrong side. I need to rotate this around. Okay, so not a problem here. Down the left-hand side, we need to find the rotate tool. Okay, it's underneath the move menu. And then there's these 2 little arrows that are in a circle. Hit rotate. And then I'm just going to go down to the bottom and snap at the bottom corner of the post, drag out, click. Now I'm going to start rotating. And how far do we want to rotate this around? Well, I want to spin my fence post 180 degrees. So I type in 180. Notice the angle down in the bottom right corner of my screen. And hit enter. All right, and what I've done now is I've just flipped those around. Okay. Again, grab your move tool and pick a specific spot. What specific spot do we want? I would like this intersection point to line up with that one. All right, we've got ourselves one section of the fence. Our class assignment this year asks us to make a fence that is 4 sections wide and 5 sections deep. So how can I do that? I certainly don't want to have to go recreate every railing and every post over and over and over again. I have a component called fence post, and I have a component called railing. Well, I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to click on the grass really quick, and I'm going to hide the grass. So right now I just have the 2 posts and the 3 railings. Let's highlight all that. Make sure we get everything. Why is mine highlighted? There we go. Everything's highlighted. Okay. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to make component. And we're going to call this what? Fence component, maybe? Fence component. And then maybe I'll give a description here. 2 posts, 3 railings, just so I know what this is, okay? And then when you're good, hit OK. And now again, look at my right-hand side here. I have the components window opened up, and now it says fence component. Okay. All right, let's bring the grass back really quick. Go to my glasses, show hidden objects, click on the grass, unhide. And we're getting ready here. We're gonna go ahead and make a few more components. All right, we're going to copy those over and bring them over. So again, just go to the component screen. I have fence posts, double click. I'll bring out another post. And again, I have to go 4 by 5, okay? So I'll bring out the next one. You can bring all 4 out if you want. You can bring all 20 out if you want. I'm going to come over here now, and I'm going to grab this corner of the fence post. I'm going to zoom in. Ooh, a little too much. And I'm going to overlap them. So when I zoom out, you'll notice that I only have 1 post in here in the middle, not 2. That's kind of cheating. I'm overlapping my posts, but for the level that we're working on here, it's probably the easiest way to line things up. If you have a better way, no problem. All right, and I'm just going to repeat that over and over again. Bring out your 3rd section, your 4th section. When you're ready to turn the corner, simply bring the section out and use that rotate tool and rotate the whole section 90 degrees, and then turn the corner, keep moving. When you get to the next corner, turn and keep moving. All right. Again, our specific assignment this year asks for a fenced-in yard that is 4 sections wide and 5 sections deep. So I would need to add 2 more here, and then bring in another one, turn it 90 degrees, and go 5 the other way, or go 5 this way and then 4. It doesn't matter. All right. And fence in your whole yard. All 4 sides of the yard must have fencing. The yard might be too big or too small. If that's the case, all right, we'll just double click on the yard, and we can just zoom in down here, and I can either shrink the yard or make the yard grow depending on what I need. Okay, so if you need your yard to get bigger or smaller, go ahead. Remember, we made it 50 by 50. All right, that might be too big. I don't know. And if it is, just shrink it. If it's too small, make it a little bigger. Okay. All right, so this is our yard. All right, you should be all set to get the rest of these sections done. There are quite a few dashed lines, and there will be more and more and more of these as you go. Before you turn this in, there's a few other steps you have to do. Again, check the assignment specifications, but turning off these dashed lines, all right, is very easy. Down here where the glasses are, there's axes and there's guides. So I can turn off the guides. All the dashed lines go away. If I would like to get rid of the red, green, and blue axes, just click on that, and then it'll go away. This looks much nicer for a client, okay? Again, for our purposes for drawing, we need all those on, but you would want to turn those off before you submit your assignment. So again, you need to completely fence in the yard, all right? Check your class specifications, and also make sure you read all the instructions. Make sure you have all the pieces. Some of our assignments ask us to put some stuff in the yard. Some assignments ask us for dimensions or some notes. Please check all those before you turn it in. But this should give you all the instructions that you need to create your fence post, your railings, and start to lay out your yard.